opening an invitation. With every sunrise, life offers us a quiet invitation to pause, to notice, and to reflect on the mystery of simply existing. Today, I want to walk beside you on a journey where quantum physics and metaphysics meet, not as rivals locked in debate, but as sisters pointing toward the same horizon of understanding. Picture this for a moment. Every breath you take is more than oxygen entering your lungs. It is a living bridge, a subtle link between what we can measure and what forever escapes measurement, between the visible and the invisible. This delicate thread is what will guide us through the exploration ahead. Before moving forward, allow me to offer a small but powerful request. Take a second to like this video and subscribe to the Dazzle of Dawn channel. On the surface, it may feel like a simple click, almost insignificant. But on a deeper level, it is an act of resonance. It creates a wave, a ripple in the quantum field of exchange, where the knowledge shared here does not remain contained but grows, expands, and echoes outward. Subscribing is not just about receiving future content. It is stepping into a wider circle of awareness, a conscious network where every action contributes to collective transformation. But think about quantum entanglement. Two particles, even separated by vast distances, remain mysteriously connected. In that same way, your action here forges invisible bonds with others who will arrive after you. Did you like, comment, share? You just stretch that field further, creating a chain of unseen connections. Physics, in its own surprising way, reminds us of something deeply spiritual, that true connection is never lost. When we give, we also receive. When we plant even the smallest seed, we eventually harvest fruit, though the timing often remains hidden from us. That is why we begin our path together with this conscious gesture. It is not about digital vanity or chasing numbers, but about a profound awareness. Every act carries ripples that travel beyond what we immediately perceive. And when those acts are directed toward nourishing lives with meaning and wisdom, they reverberate through dimensions far richer than statistics. They touch the symbolic, the timeless. Your decision here is more than support. It is a doorway to new worlds of possibility. In today's journey, we will speak about the multiverse, about the cosmic scale, and about the unique position we hold in this vast unfolding. But our conversation will not stay abstract or distant. Instead, it will remain rooted in the soil of your everyday life. After all, what good is understanding infinity if we cannot learn to shape the present moment into a wellspring of meaning? And what sense is there in talking about parallel universes if we fail to cherish the ground we stand upon right now? So, take a deep breath and allow yourself to step into this experience not as a mere observer, but as a co-creator of the path ahead. What you will hear is not only theory, it is a living invitation to transformation. Remember, each word you receive may act as a key, each metaphor as a doorway. Whether you step through or not is your choice alone. And with that spirit of curiosity and courage, we begin our journey, holding the infinite in mind, yet embracing the sacred beauty of the present instant. Awe before the cosmic scale. When we raise our eyes to the night sky, what we see at first seems quiet and distant, tiny dots scattered across the dark canvas. Yet each one of those points is not just a light, but a sun, often larger and brighter than the one that sustains our lives here. Every shimmer is a possibility of worlds we may never touch, and each galaxy is a vast library of billions of stories that will remain forever untold. Modern physics estimates that there are over 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe alone, each holding hundreds of billions of suns. Faced with this overwhelming immensity, the first natural reaction we feel is awe, followed quickly by humility. It is striking to notice how the human mind, so accustomed to measuring distances in miles or kilometers, suddenly falters when confronted with cosmic numbers. What does it truly mean to speak of billions of light years, when even a single light year defies comprehension? Science provides us with precise figures, with equations and data. Yet metaphysics offers something equally valuable: the raw wonder. That shiver in the soul reminding us we belong to something far greater than ourselves, while paradoxically, that same vastness looks back at itself through our very eyes. Whenever physics brings us face to face with the incomprehensible, metaphysics gently reminds us that the incomprehensible is not meant to be solved like a puzzle, but experienced like a sunrise. Picture yourself standing on a quiet beach, holding a single grain of sand in the palm of your hand. That grain represents Earth compared to the cosmic ocean. Now pause and reflect. Within that grain lives you, with your entire history, your emotions, your choices, your unique perspective. The greatness of the universe does not erase your significance. It magnifies it. For what could be rarer, more extraordinary, than the simple fact that you exist at all within this endless expanse? How can we translate this awareness into everyday practice? The answer is surprisingly simple. When you face a problem that feels heavy or overwhelming, try to hold it up against the scale of the cosmos. Your challenge, though valid and real, is smaller than the blink of a single star among trillions. This perspective does not dismiss your struggle, nor does it ask you to deny your feelings. Instead, it reframes them, reminding you that even the largest weight can seem lighter when measured against eternity. Ask yourself, within the immensity of the universe, what is the true size of this worry? Often, that very question brings immediate relief and a spark of clarity. I have practiced this myself in times of anxiety. On nights when thoughts become too loud, I step outside, look upward, and let my mind wander among the stars. The vastness above silences the chaos within. Each point of light whispers the same truth. I am part of something larger, something ongoing, something luminous. This simple ritual, lifting your gaze, breathing deeply, allowing perspective to settle in, acts as a quiet medicine. It loosens the grip of urgency, slows the pulse of worry, and anchors you in a truth far greater than the day's noise. And here lies the beauty. Physics describes the universe in terms of expansion, acceleration, unimaginable numbers, and distances. Metaphysics takes that same expansion and reads it as a personal invitation, a call for consciousness to awaken. We are not abandoned wanderers lost in the dark. We are participants in a grand performance of light. The cosmos, in all its mystery, does not ask you to solve its riddle. It asks only that you allow yourself to be reshaped by the awe it awakens. the mystery of the multiverse. The idea of the multiverse is perhaps one of the boldest concepts the human mind has ever dared to imagine. If the universe we already know feels impossibly vast, spanning billions of galaxies and endless stretches of time, then the notion of a multiverse suggests that our universe may be nothing more than a single thread in an infinite tapestry. Quantum physics and modern cosmology explore theories such as eternal inflation and the many worlds interpretation, pointing to the possibility that countless parallel realities may exist, each giving form to possibilities that remain hidden from our own experience. From a metaphysical perspective, this concept touches something deeply intuitive, something humanity has always suspected, that beyond what we see lies a realm of invisible dimensions, hidden worlds quietly coexisting with our own. Think of those moments when you felt, almost instinctively, that a single choice could have completely altered the direction of your life. Physics describes such points as possible branches in reality. Metaphysics calls them the pathways of the soul. Both perspectives converge on the same profound mystery. Life itself is a field of probabilities, continuously shifting and crystallizing based on the decisions we make. When we bring this notion into everyday life, it reveals a surprisingly practical lesson. Every decision is like creating a miniature universe of its own. Choosing to respond with kindness instead of anger, for instance, activates a different reality, one where peace grows in place of conflict. Physics proposes that all of these outcomes coexist simultaneously, while metaphysics reminds us that consciousness acts as the gateway, selecting which of these infinite paths becomes alive and tangible in our experience. In that sense, every choice is not just a moment, it is a doorway into a whole new world. I have lived through situations where the decision seemed so small, almost invisible at the time, yet looking back I can see how it profoundly reshaped the unfolding of events. Choosing forgiveness instead of clinging to resentment, for example, opened doors I didn't even know existed. Doors that would have remained locked had I chosen to remain in the same inner state. This is the multiverse in action, not as abstract theory or faraway speculation, but as something we can observe in the rhythm of our daily lives. We do not need to travel across hidden dimensions to see it. We only need to notice how our choices, one after another, weave the threads of destiny. And when we stop to contemplate the multiverse in all its possibilities, a deeper question naturally arises. If infinite worlds exist, what does that say about the life we are living right now? The answer, paradoxically, is not to reduce the value of the present, but to exalt it. Out of all potential realities, this one, this precise moment, is the one that has crystallized for you. It is not an accident or a random outcome. It is the version of reality that emerged to be lived fully, consciously, and gratefully. This awareness transforms the present into something sacred, a cosmic gift delivered directly into your hands. In this way, the multiverse is not merely a daring scientific hypothesis or a poetic spiritual metaphor. It is also an invitation to responsibility. Every thought, every gesture, every word you choose to speak plants a seed that may bloom into an entire universe of consequences. To recognize this is to recognize your role as a co-creator of reality itself. And here lies the meeting point between physics and metaphysics. Both acknowledge that the observer is never passive. The observer is an active participant in the ongoing creation of the world. The meaning of life within the infinite. As we contemplate the immensity of the cosmos and even the daring hypothesis of the multiverse, a question naturally arises, almost unavoidably. What is the true value of human life in the face of such staggering vastness? If we are only a microscopic point within a boundless ocean of worlds, doesn't that make our existence insignificant? Physics gives us numbers that can feel overwhelming, almost crushing in scale. Yet it is precisely here that metaphysics invites us to shift perspective. The rarer something is, the more priceless it becomes. Imagine for a moment holding a jewel so unique that no other like it exists anywhere in the universe. That is what conscious life represents, an extraordinary rarity in a sea of repeating patterns and endless matter. Science shows us that while the elements of life may be widespread across the cosmos, the exact arrangement required for complex, self-aware existence is astonishingly improbable. Metaphysics takes the thought further. The very fact that you are alive, here and now, is living proof of your singularity and the immeasurable worth of your being. In practice, this awareness has the power to reshape the way we move through our daily lives. When you feel that your routine is dull or meaningless, pause and remember. You are a conscious manifestation of the cosmos itself, a spark of awareness observing the infinite from within. From that perspective, there are no ordinary moments. Brewing a cup of coffee, embracing someone you love, or quietly watching the colors of the sunset. All of these are cosmic acts, expressions of life blossoming against the backdrop of a silent, endless universe. I myself have experienced this shift in perception during seemingly small, almost invisible moments. I recall walking down a modest street one day, and as I noticed the breeze gently moving the leaves of the trees, I felt an unexpected grandeur hidden in that simple scene. It was as if infinity itself whispered, "See, even here I am present." That experience taught me that we don't always need powerful telescopes or equations to sense the universe's greatness. Sometimes all it takes is paying full attention to what is already around us. The great lesson here is that life should never be measured only by its duration or by cosmic scales, but by the depth of the experience it holds. A single instant of genuine love has more meaning than billions of years lived without awareness. When we realize this truth, we understand that finitude is not a limitation, but an amplifier of meaning. It is the limit that sharpens the beauty of each moment and teaches us to live it as if it were eternal. So, the true meaning of life is not found in competing with infinity, but in recognizing ourselves as part of it. We are not isolated notes struggling to be heard, but chords resonating within a vast cosmic symphony. Infinity provides the backdrop, but the delicacy of the present is where the music takes shape. And when we live with that awareness, each gesture becomes a spark of eternity, and every second reveals the immeasurable value of simply existing. The rarity of intelligent life. Science reveals to us something both intriguing and unsettling. Despite the unimaginable number of galaxies and stars scattered across the universe, we have yet to find any clear evidence of other intelligent civilizations. This silence, echoing across the cosmos, has been famously called the Fermi paradox. From a purely mathematical standpoint, the odds suggest we should not be alone. And yet, the absence of detectable signals hints at a deeper truth, that intelligent life may be far rarer than we ever imagined. Through the lens of metaphysics, this rarity takes on a different meaning. Perhaps conscious intelligence is not merely the result of biological accidents and random mutations. Perhaps it is the universe itself awakening, choosing to recognize and explore its own depths through beings like us. If that is so, then every moment of self-awareness, every spark of reflection, becomes a cosmic event in itself. We are not simply observers of the stars. We are the very eyes and minds through which the universe contemplates its own existence. In practical terms, this realization invites us to treasure life in a radical and profound way. When we fall into comparison or into feelings of smallness and insignificance, we forget the astonishing truth. We carry within us the ability to imagine, to create, to love, to transform. Every time you choose compassion, you teach the universe something it could never express without you. Each human being is like a living library of experiences, filled with stories, emotions, and possibilities that enrich existence in ways no equation could ever capture. I have personally noticed this value in the simplest of encounters. In conversations with people from different cultures, I discovered that every perspective was a completely new window into reality. Even when two people describe the same sunset, each one perceives it through their own unique lens, colored by memory, language, and feeling. This diversity of perception is proof that intelligent life is not only rare, but infinitely varied in its expressions. Humanity's richness lies not in sameness, but in the multitude of ways we experience and interpret the same world. From a quantum point of view, every human mind can be seen as a unique collapse of possibilities, a wave of potential folding into a singular consciousness. No awareness is ever duplicated. This means that you, exactly as you are, remain irreplaceable. There is no replica of your experiences, your memories, your decisions, or the particular way you perceive existence. Metaphysics translates this into the language of the soul. Your life holds a purpose that cannot be outsourced or handed to another. It is yours alone, and it carries a meaning only you can fulfill. Therefore, the rarity of intelligent life should not bring despair, but responsibility. If we are indeed one of the few forms of consciousness capable of reflecting on the universe, then we bear the duty of protecting this fragile earth, caring for one another, and ensuring a future where life can continue to flourish. To be rare is to be precious, and to be precious carries responsibility. When we embrace this truth, we begin to live not just for ourselves but as guardians of a cosmic treasure, the miracle of conscious life itself. Mars, and the limits of cosmic exploration. Among all the planets in our solar system, only Mars stands out as a realistic candidate for human presence. Yet even Mars greets us with hostility. Its surface is barren and dry, its temperatures fluctuate between extremes, and its fragile atmosphere offers little protection. Science acknowledges the monumental challenges, and even the boldest visionaries, people like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, recognize that colonizing Mars will be anything but simple. Still, the fascination with Mars reveals something deeper than technology or ambition. It reflects humanity's timeless need to push boundaries and expand frontiers. From a metaphysical point of view, this impulse is more than technological curiosity. It is the restless whisper of the soul. Humanity has always searched for horizons, not because we simply wish to escape, but because we sense that life itself is movement. Mars becomes a powerful symbol, an archetype of an ancient calling, the eternal invitation to explore what lies beyond the known. From the days of cave dwellers crossing rivers, to sailors venturing across oceans, to rockets piercing the skies, our story is one of continually answering the call to move further. Now, the cosmos itself has become the new ocean waiting for us to cross. Practically speaking, the dream of reaching Mars can inspire us to face our own inner deserts. How many times have you looked inside yourself and discovered barren landscapes, places that felt uninhabitable or lifeless? Just as scientists imagine transforming Mars, those inner spaces can also be renewed if we are willing to meet the challenge of planting something living there. In this way, cosmic exploration becomes a mirror for intimate exploration, where every step into emptiness is really a step into the courage of existence. I have felt this parallel in my own life. During times of personal crisis, it often seemed as though I was walking across a sterile desert, stripped of possibility. But, much like Mars simulations teach us, even in the harshest environments, life can bloom if a single seed is introduced. By tending to small but consistent practices, meditation, journaling, meaningful conversations, I discovered that even my own Martian soil could bear fruit. The act of nurturing the smallest seeds became proof that barren ground is not the end, but the beginning of transformation. Physics may remind us that Mars might never become a perfect home for humanity. But metaphysics suggests that home is not merely a physical location, it is also a state of consciousness. We do not need to inhabit another planet to expand the possibilities of life. We need to learn how to expand awareness and cultivate the world we already have. Outer exploration has meaning only when paired with inner expansion. Otherwise, it becomes escape rather than true evolution. Thus, Mars becomes more than a red dot in the night sky. It becomes a mirror, reflecting both the limits of matter and the greatness of human will. Mars invites us to hold two truths at once. Yes, we must dare to dream and to reach beyond what we know. But we must also recognize that the greatest challenge lies in transforming Earth into a place worthy of the rare miracle of life. Mars inspires us to look outward, but at the same time it insists that we care for what is within. The mystery of black holes. Few cosmic phenomena capture as much fascination as black holes. These regions of space, where gravity becomes so intense that nothing can escape, not even light, seem to mark the ultimate boundary between what we know and what still hides in mystery. Physics shows us that within their grip, space and time bend to extremes, giving rise to paradoxes that challenge the very foundations of our understanding. They stand like dark gateways, whispering that reality still holds secrets far beyond our grasp, secrets that science has only begun to touch. From the metaphysical perspective, black holes are not only destructive voids, but also symbols of creative emptiness. Where physics sees collapse, spirituality senses transformation. Just as a seed must disappear into the soil before it can sprout, perhaps the matter and information drawn into a black hole are not truly lost, but reorganized into forms we have yet to comprehend. What looks like an ending may instead be the threshold to another beginning, a doorway into an unseen dimension of becoming. In practical terms, black holes serve as powerful metaphors for our own inner abysses. Who has not, at some point, felt trapped in a void, as if every ounce of light and hope had been swallowed? In those moments, despair can feel absolute, like standing at the event horizon of the soul. And yet, quantum physics reminds us of something essential. Even black holes emit faint radiation, tiny signals of persistence known as Hawking radiation. Likewise, in our darkest hours, a spark of hope always remains, however small, capable of guiding us back toward life. I have personally lived through moments that felt like personal collapse, losses, failures, heartbreaks that seemed to devour everything I valued. At the time, it felt as if I had been consumed by a void with no return. Yet by staying present in the silence of those inner abysses, I came to see them not as sites of destruction, but of gestation. Just as the immense gravity of a black hole concentrates energy into a single point, life was concentrating unseen strength within me, preparing to release it later in new and surprising forms. Modern physics now suggests that information falling into a black hole may never truly vanish, but instead remains encoded in some mysterious way at its event horizon. Metaphysics translates this into a profound truth. Nothing we experience is wasted. Every joy, every wound, every painful trial is stored within the universal field of consciousness. In time, all of it can be reframed. All of it can return to us in a new and meaningful shape. The void is never the end. It is the preparation ground for what has not yet been born. So, when we contemplate black holes, let us not see them solely as cosmic threats, but as reminders that mystery itself is an essential part of existence. They teach us that there are frontiers the rational mind cannot cross, but that the soul can sense and embrace. The abyss is not the final chapter of the journey. It is an invitation to trust in the invisible. And when we accept that invitation, we discover that even within the deepest darkness, light still waits in potential, ready to emerge. The end of Earth and the cosmic timeline. Science tells us that in a few billion years, our sun will expand into a red giant, eventually stripping away Earth's atmosphere and transforming our planet into a barren, uninhabitable world. This is not a punishment nor a tragedy in cosmic terms. It is simply the natural course of stellar evolution. The very fire that sustains us today will, in the far future, consume our home. When we reflect on this vast timeline, one truth becomes clear. Permanence does not exist in the physical realm. Everything that is born will one day fade, and everything that blossoms will eventually dissolve back into the whole. From a metaphysical perspective, the certainty of finitude is not a cause for despair, but an invitation to wisdom. Impermanence is perhaps the most profound teacher, reminding us that life's value is found in the immediacy of the present. Knowing that even Earth itself carries an expiration date invites us to understand that nothing we live is guaranteed forever. Each gesture, each word, each connection is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to leave traces of beauty in a universe that is always reinventing itself. Practically, this insight can reshape the choices we make every single day. When you catch yourself postponing a dream or holding back words of affection for another time, remember, there is no guarantee of later. If even the sun has a countdown, why should we allow our own days to slip by without meaning? The eventual end of Earth teaches us to place value not in the distant tomorrow, but in the living, breathing now, the moment where life truly happens. I have personally experienced how this awareness can transform behavior. I remember once delaying a meeting with someone deeply important to me, assuming that there would always be another chance. But soon after, I realized that the opportunity would never return. The pain of that realization was sharp, yet it became one of my greatest lessons. Since then, I've learned that life is not measured by the quantity of years, but by the intensity of our presence within them. Impermanence itself became my teacher, whispering that every moment counts because every moment is unrepeatable. Physics describes the death of stars not as an ending in isolation, but as part of a greater cycle, where stellar material is scattered into space, becoming the foundation for new planets, new systems, and potentially new life. Metaphysics reads this as a powerful reminder that nothing is ever truly lost. Everything transforms. Everything changes form. Everything continues in ways unseen. The death of Earth, one day in the distant future, may mark not a final silence, but the beginning of new stories written elsewhere across the cosmos. Thus, the distant horizon of extinction is not a final period at the end of the sentence, but more like a comma in the ongoing cosmic narrative. For us humans, it functions as a mirror. We are finite, and it is precisely this limitation that grants each instant its immeasurable worth. The universe does not ask us to conquer death. It asks us to learn how to dance with it, to transform each fleeting second into lived eternity. The eventual end of Earth does not diminish life. It exalts it, reminding us that everything becomes precious precisely because it is brief. Asteroids and the risk of existence. Among the many scenarios that could alter or even end life on Earth, asteroids hold a unique place in the human imagination. Science reminds us that catastrophic collisions have already shaped our planet's history, the most famous being the impact that likely wiped out the dinosaurs. These geological memories act as warning signs, showing us that life, though rare and precious, is also fragile and vulnerable. The universe is not only a stage for beauty and wonder. It is also a field of unpredictable forces that occasionally remind us of our place within it. Metaphysics interprets asteroids as symbols of life's unexpected collisions. We often walk through our days believing that we are in full control, until suddenly an unforeseen event, a loss, a sudden change, a revelation, strikes us like a cosmic impact. These moments, as painful as they may be, reveal the delicacy of human existence and call us to cultivate resilience. Just as Earth has endured impacts across its history, so too can we recover and rebuild after the falls that life inevitably brings. On a practical level, humanity has begun preparing for such possibilities. Projects like NASA's DART mission, which successfully altered the path of an asteroid, show us that knowledge can be transformed into protection. This achievement carries a larger lesson. Awareness generates responsibility. The same is true in our personal lives. When we identify destructive patterns, whether harmful habits, toxic relationships, or unconscious choices, we have the chance to redirect ourselves before impact occurs. Prevention is also a form of wisdom, just as powerful as reaction. I have lived this principle in my own journey. There was a time when I ignored the clear signals of physical and emotional exhaustion, convinced that I could push forward indefinitely. Eventually, the asteroid of burnout struck me head-on, forcing me to stop. Only then did I realize that I could have adjusted my course earlier if I had paid attention to the warnings. That experience taught me a valuable truth. Life always whispers before it shouts. The signs are there, but it is up to us to listen. Physics teaches us to calculate the trajectories of asteroids with mathematical precision, predicting their approach years in advance. Metaphysics extends this wisdom to our own lives, reminding us that our choices, too, create trajectories that can be studied, reflected upon, and adjusted. The presence of risk should not paralyze us. It should awaken us. Just as a telescope alerts us to what is moving closer in space, mindfulness alerts us to what is moving closer to our soul. In this sense, asteroids can be seen as silent teachers. They remind us of our vulnerability and the necessity of vigilance. But they also demonstrate that intervention is possible, that destinies can be shifted. Existential risk is not a reason for absolute fear, but a call to collective and individual responsibility. And when science and consciousness meet, we discover that even wandering stones in the void of space can teach us how to live with greater awareness, resilience, and purpose. On closing and final invitation. We have arrived at the end of this journey, though not at the end of knowledge. What we have walked through together, the immensity of the cosmos, the mystery of the multiverse, the rarity of life, the darkness of black holes, and even the risks hidden within space, was never meant to be received as mere information. It was an invitation to feel, to sense, to remember that within each of us beats the same force that sets galaxies spinning and stars ablaze. The universe is not something distant and external, simply there to be observed. It is also what breathes in you, what moves through you, every moment you are alive. Physics has shown us magnitudes and limits, while metaphysics has revealed meanings and direction. Together, they remind us of a greater truth. We are both stardust and awakened consciousness. Whether we lift our gaze to the trillions of galaxies scattered through space, or simply to the quiet of a single starry night, the call remains the same. Awaken to the value of the present moment. Awaken to the responsibility of being a conscious fragment of infinity. Practically speaking, this means living more attentively, with more compassion. It means treating Earth as our sacred home, valuing relationships as rare gifts, and shaping our choices not only by personal desire, but by collective good. If the universe has granted us the gift of awareness, it was not given so we could waste it on endless distraction. It was given so that through us, beauty, wisdom, and care might enter the world. I have personally felt this call in moments of quiet contemplation. When I look into the night sky, I do not see only distant stars. I see open questions. I see vast possibilities. And in that silence, I realize that every decision I make, no matter how small, is like igniting or extinguishing a star. That awareness reminds me daily that I am not a passive spectator, but an active participant in an unfolding cosmic story, one that is being written moment by moment through my presence. So, here is my invitation. Continue this journey with me. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others. Do not think of these actions as trivial, but as conscious acts of expansion. Every interaction extends this field of reflection, allowing more people to receive insights that may spark transformation. By subscribing, you become a co-creator of this mission of awakening, linking your awareness to a living network of change and renewal. Let us move forward as explorers of the invisible, learning from science while diving into the wisdom that rises from silence. The universe is vast, yet life is brief. May we honor it with each gesture, each thought, each breath. Because in the end, it does not matter whether we are gazing into the mystery of black holes or the delicate beauty of a single flower. Both remind us of the same eternal truth. To exist is a miracle, and to live with awareness is the greatest adventure of all. And so, see you in the next video, with more information on everything that involves growing, evolving, transforming, and manifesting. See you soon.